Hello everyone, my name is Roya, and today I'm coming to you with the books that I read in the latter half of August. So first one I'm going to talk to you about is Atomic Habits by James Clear. This was my Works Book Club pick this month, and this was a really good book. It was all about basically breaking down how to break a habit that you want to break and how to get into a good habit you want to get into, and how to kind of make it easier on yourself to do the good habits. So for instance, like if you want to exercise every day, leave your exercise stuff out, stuff like that, so that because the mind like uses it, just makes any excuse not to do that, all that stuff. Or if you want to stop watching a lot of TV, like take your batteries out of your remote every time. The Dragon Unleashed by Grace Draven. This is one of the worst books that I've read this year. I thought that the storytelling of it was so boring and just told in such a dry way that just did not work. For example, one of the cardinal rules of a romance book is that we want to be rooting for two people to be able to be together, because throughout the entire book we think that there are things keeping them apart. We don't think that we're reading to see how are these people going to actually be able to be together. So in this book, that's not really present. Basically we have a guy who shows up, and the only reason, after they fall in love, the only reason that they think they can't be together is because he's not from there, so he's eventually gonna leave. That's it. There's nothing making him leave. So there wasn't any kind of like, oh, how are they gonna be able to be together at all? And then the villain of the story, we're briefly introduced to her at the beginning of the book, and she is like really a cookie cutter villain. Oh my freaking gods. Like, she was just the most dry, stereotypical, just whatever, let's just grab a villain out of a hat. Like, I don't know, I did not enjoy reading about her at all. And towards the end of the book, when the main characters get captured by the villain, and the villain is trying to carry out her evil, nefarious like thing she's trying to do, it's all over really quickly and really conveniently. So there really was no story there. It was literally just like, oh, we just kind of are vaguely aware that the villain is in the story somewhere, so something's eventually going to happen. And then when something happens, boom, it's over. Like, that's it, and the story ends. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't get it. And so this was a really hard book to get into anyway, because it was just told so boringly. The writing was really boring, the storytelling was really boring. So the fact that the entire time the story was still really, really boring and just did not have anything to it to keep me reading at all, just made for a very, very flat story. Also, the writing was super not great. For example, the main character is constantly, or the love interest is constantly referred to as just being handsome. We only get any kind of actual description of him twice. Aside from that, he's literally just referred to as handsome, instead of any actual physical traits at all. It's just, he was handsome, he stood there handsomely, he looked handsome standing there, blah blah blah. And it was just like, really? And the whole book was like that too. It wasn't just the guy being handsome or whatever. It was, for example, there would be a sentence like, "It's really hot outside," he said as he wiped the sweat off of his brow. And it's like, do we really need, and he's not saying it to anybody, he's just talking to himself. And I'm like, did we need that? Did we need that to set up how hot it was outside? No. He could have just been wiping the sweat off his brow, because obviously that signifies that it's hot outside. So anyway, yeah, I did not enjoy this book at all, and I'm really disappointed because I thought I was really gonna like it. Black Unicorn by Terry Brooks. This is the second book in the Kingdom of Landover series. This follows a guy who has bought a magical kingdom that he has become king of. And in this particular installment, this wizard guy switches places with him. He basically makes himself look like our main character and makes the main character look like just a random guy so that people don't recognize him. And so he has to kind of figure out what this wizard is trying to do, and how he can get the kingdom back from the wizard who is impersonating him. So this was really good. I really enjoyed it. There were a few things that I kind of thought fell flat for me that were just not really explained and all of that, but overall it held up as a really good story and I liked it. The Trader Barrow Cormorant by Seth Dickinson. I had heard nothing but good things about this, so I was really expecting it to be like stellar, but unfortunately it really was not. I liked it. I thought that it had a lot of good points to make about colonization. I thought that the idea was good, but I was just really bored, and I'm not sure why that is. Because really, this book should be really up my alley. It's queer. It's about a girl who is overthrowing an empire. She's really badass, all of that stuff. But I felt like the world building, for example, was really arbitrary. There really wasn't anything tying the world building together or differentiating between any places at all. So the place names were just really random and had nothing to do with with anything. And the people's names were not similar to each other or anything to indicate that they were from the same place or anything like that at all. There were just no rules of the society, language, anything to follow that tied the world building together. So I felt like maybe it was just really flat in that regard, and that made the whole story fall apart. But I think also it had to do a lot with just the fact that we got so much political intrigue that the actual story kind of fell by the wayside. So ultimately, I didn't dislike this book by any means, but it did not in any way live up to the hype that it gets. I was really expecting more out of it, and I'm so bummed that I didn't absolutely love it. Finally, Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. A friend lent me all 4 of Brandon Sanderson's secret novels, so I'm making my way through these. They're pretty quick reads and all of that, so they're really fun. So this one is about a girl who's the guy she likes ends up having to go and marry a princess or whatever, and so but he refuses to, so he basically disappears, so she has to go become a pirate, or not really even a pirate, I don't know, basically become a pirate, and sail the high seas and battle a sorceress to get him back. And this was a really good story in that the ideas here were great, and even though I kind of figured what was going on and everything, it was really clever, and I overall really enjoyed reading it. So anyway, those are the books that I read in the latter half of August. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these and have any thoughts on them, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!